Alright, so the first take didn't take. This weekend is the 2010 European Grand Prix, hosted in Valencia. And after second practice, Fernando Alonso is on top with both of the Red Bulls of Webber and Vettel coming in second and third. I think the order is switched. I think it's Vettel, then Webber. Anywho, so those are the top three after second practice. Third practice and quali are tomorrow with the race on Sunday. Before the race even got started, Heikki Kovalainen, who's my favorite driver for Lotus, had to drive from Geneva down to Valencia. I looked it up on Google Maps, 1,125 kilometers. Apparently he and his missus took turns driving, and they were saying on the BBC coverage that she drove the last 500, but either way, rough trip by car before the race, or before practice got started. But anyways, very interesting. The race, the circuit in Valencia is a street circuit. Some of it is permanently, I want to say it's all regular street circuits. Sometimes they mix and match, you know, some street, some purpose-built, but I think Valencia is all regular street. But anyways, very interesting racetrack. Not a whole lot of opportunities for overtaking. Like many street tracks, it's pretty confined. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any action this weekend as far as overtaking out on the track is concerned. And I think as the weekend, you know, especially as the race and as the weekend progresses, the green track will start to rubber in, so times will start to fall and tires will start to hang on better. But tires were going off pretty quickly during practice. There was, I've only watched first practice. The big sort of moment was when Bruno Senna's wing mirror came off and Sebastian Buemi ran over it and blew it into a bunch of tiny pieces. They had to red flag the session because there was no easy way for the marshals to get out there and clean it up. So they red flagged it for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then practice resumed. And that was pretty much it for first practice action. I haven't watched second practice yet. Had to do some work today. And the rule changes for next year. That was the other big thing. First up, Prix was announced as the tire supplier for Formula One for, I'm not sure how many years the deal is, but they are going to be supplying tires next year. So Pirelli supplying for all of Formula One, and they're reinstituting the 107% rule. So the slowest car on the grid cannot have qualified more than 7% behind the fastest car. So if Lewis Hamilton laps a 140 around Valencia, then Karun Chandhok cannot lap any slower than a 147. There are provisions in there to allow racers to be admitted to race if, you know, some kind of extraneous circumstance happened. You know, if there's a crash that black flags the session, and you know, Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button couldn't put in fast laps, it's kind of at the, I'm not sure if it's, I was assuming to be Charlie Whiting's decision to allow them to take place in the race. I don't know how they, you know, would they be put at the back of the grid? I'm not sure how that works. But anyways, so that is going to be coming up. Also, it's a driver activated rear wing, I think is what they're calling it. Basically, for certain amount of time on certain parts of the track, if a driver is within 1 second of, you know, another car that he's racing, he would be able to push a button on his steering wheel, and that would open a slit in his rear wing, thereby reducing drag, letting air pass through the wing instead of over it, and therefore boosting his speed by about 10 miles an hour on the outside. So that is up. I'm not sure that's going to survive untouched. I think the KERS was never something where you were having to be within a certain distance of another car. So I think they may end up doing it like the old KERS regulation, where you get 8 seconds of driver activated rear wing per lap and use it where you want to. I think it's interesting. There was a little uproar by the drivers that hey, is this safe? Is this going to cause driver error? And it's like, if you've watched an F1 race, you know that they're constantly on their steering wheel adjusting brake bias. So I don't think brake bias and the engine mixture. So I don't think that this idea that a driver is going to have to push a button when he wants to use the wing is inherently unsafe. I think there may be something to be said about our drivers doing too much behind the wheel. But like some of the F-duct systems that required you to take your hand off the steering wheel and plug a hole in the side of the car. That's definitely a safety thing. But when that started, they said, well, if they can do it safely, and same thing, nobody's forcing you to use the driver activated rear wing. So anyway, and also KERS is making a comeback, which I'm medium about. I feel very ambivalent towards KERS. I think that it's something that the more resourceful teams will be able to design and implement, and that the younger and less well-funded teams will get kind of screwed over on. When Bruno Senna's mirror fell off, the BBC commentators were kind of half laughing, half crying that HRT can't really afford to be replacing carbon fiber wing mirrors. And if you've got some teams that are running on that much of a shoestring budget, and they're not going to be able to design and implement KERS. So I don't think that's the answer to increased competition, but we shall see. But anyway, that's it for now. I'll try and do a little update maybe tomorrow after qualifying, and then maybe a post-race kind of review / breakdown. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later.